Next, let's see the headmaster's role. The headmaster supervises the process. This means the headmaster oversees the re-examination. He ensures that all the rules are properly followed. He carefully observes both the teachers and the candidate. His presence gives authority to the examination process. He remains calm even when funny or situations occur. The audience notices his reactions to the observed situations. The headmaster manages the entire process while the comedy unfolds. He tries to maintain dignity. This means the headmaster wants to stay respectable in front of everyone. He handles the situation calmly. Even when the candidate behaves unusually, he keeps his composure. He does not get angry openly. His dignity adds seriousness to the comedic situation. The audience notices his controlled behavior. He tries to stay dignified while managing the comedy. He realizes the candidate is fooling the staff. This means the headmaster understands that the candidate is tricking the teachers. He notices the cleverness behind the candidate's answers. He observes how the teachers are confused. He realizes the absurdity of the situation. He understands that the system itself is being mocked. His awareness adds depth to the play. The headmaster sees that the candidate is cleverly playing with the staff. Yet, rules force them to consider his demand. This means, even though they dislike his calm, the rules make them think about it. The teachers cannot reject him immediately. The school has to follow procedure. The headmaster reminds them of discipline. This creates tension between emotions and rules. The staff feel helpless because of the system. They must consider his demand because rules don't allow them to ignore it. The situation slips out of control. This means things do not go as planned. The teachers cannot handle the candidates' tricks. The headmaster loses control over the examination. The candidate takes advantage of the confusion. The system looks weak and helpless. The audience enjoys the unexpected comedy. The whole situation goes beyond their control. Now, friends, let us learn about the climax of the play. The man fails brilliantly in every subject. This means the candidate answers wrongly in all subjects. His failures are not ordinary, they are clever and intentional. Each wrong answer sounds funny but logical in its own way. The teachers become frustrated by his strange answers. Still, the rules force them to accept his failure. His brilliant failure exposes the weakness of the system. He wins the refund by cleverly failing in every subject. He proves he learned nothing in school. This means the candidate shows that his education was useless. He cannot give a single correct answer. His failure becomes proof that he learned nothing. This creates humor as well as irony. The teachers feel insulted because their teaching is questioned. The education system is exposed as weak and mechanical. He wins by proving that school gave him no real learning. Teachers are forced to admit his claim. This means the teachers realize they cannot deny his argument. His deliberate failure matches his claim. They feel insulted but have no choice. Rules and logic trap them into agreement. The headmaster also cannot protect the system. The teachers reluctantly accept his demand. Finally, the teachers admit that his claim is true. The school feels embarrassed and helpless. This means the school realizes its reputation is damaged. Teachers feel ashamed of the situation. The headmaster cannot defend the system. They feel powerless before the candidate's logic. Their authority looks weak in front of the audience. The school has no option but to agree to the refund. The school ends up embarrassed and helpless. The audience enjoys the irony. This means the audience notices the gap between rules and reality. They find humor in the serious situation. The man's foolishness becomes clever in their eyes. The teachers look trapped by their own system. This contradiction makes the audience laugh. Irony creates both comedy and criticism. The audience enjoys the twist of the irony. Let's see what the play wants to tell us about education, life, and success. The play criticizes blind memorization. This means the play points out that memorizing facts without understanding is useless. Students are taught to remember, not to think. Memorization alone cannot prepare someone for real life. The candidate's failure show the flaw in this method. Teachers and the system focus more on marks than understanding. The play humorously exposes this weakness. Blind memorization is criticized because it does not teach real learning. It shows how education does not guarantee success in life. This means the play shows that having education does not always lead to success. The candidate studied in school but fails in real life. Marks and certificates do not ensure practical skills. Education alone cannot prepare someone for challenges of life. The play highlights the gap between academic knowledge and real life needs. Humor and satire are used to show this truth. Education does not always guarantee real life success. It reflects society obsession with certificates. This means the play shows how society values certificates more than real knowledge. People often judge success by degrees and marks. Certificates are treated as proof of intelligence. The candidate exposes the absurdity of this ambition. Despite having no practical skills, people are respected for certificates. Humor is used to criticize this social behavior. The play shows that society often overvalues certificates instead of real learning. It ridicules meaningless exams. This means the play makes fun of exams that serve no real purpose. Such exams focus on memorization rather than understanding. The candidates' observed answers expose the uselessness of these exams. Teachers are forced to follow the rigid system. The audience laughs at how meaningless these exams are. Humor and irony are used to criticize root exams. The play shows that meaningless exams are funny and useless. It warns about mechanical teaching methods. This means the play shows that teaching should not be rigid or automatic. Mechanical methods focus only on repetition and memorization. Such teaching ignores creatively and understanding. The candidate exposes the flaws of mechanical teaching. The system becomes more about rules than learning. Humor is used to criticize such methods. Mechanical teaching is warned against because it fails to teach real knowledge. Now, friends, let's see how the play finally ends. The candidate wins the refund of his fees. This means the candidate finally gets back the money he paid for school. His clever strategy of failing works in his favor. Teachers and headmaster have no choice but to agree. The refund symbolizes his protest against the education system. The audience laughs at the unexpected result. The play ends on a humorous and ironic note. He wins the refund by cleverly proving the flaws of the system. Teachers realize they have been tricked. This means the teachers understand that the candidate was fooling them. His wrong answers were intentional and clever. They feel embarrassed for being deceived. The system they follow appears weak and flawed. Even the headmaster realizes the trick. Despite knowing the truth, rules force them to accept the claim. The teachers finally understand that they have been cleverly tricked. The school loses its prestige. This means the school's reputation is damaged after the incident. Teachers and the headmaster feel embarrassed. The audience laughs at the school's failure to handle the situation. The system appears weak and rigid. The incident shows that prestige cannot replace real education. Even authority figures are unable to control the outcome. The school loses its prestige because it fails to provide real learning. The audience sees the absurdity of the situation. This means the audience notices how ridiculous the scenario is. They understand that the rules of the system are illogical. The candidate's actions make the situation humorous. Teachers and the headmaster look trapped by their own rules. The contrast between expectations and reality is highlighted. Irony makes the audience laugh and things simultaneously. The audience enjoys seeing how absurd the situation has become. The play ends with laughter and satire. This means the play concludes on a humorous note. Satire is used to criticize the flaws in education and society. The audience laughs at the absurdity of the events. The candidate's cleverness adds to the comic effect. Even the teachers and headmaster become part of the comedy. Humor is combined with a moral lesson for the audience. The play ends by making people laugh while teaching an important lesson. Let's see what we can learn from the story's ending. Refund is a brilliant satirical play that entertains and educates at the same time. This means Refund is a one act play full of humor and satire. It entertains the audience with funny situations. At the same time, it teaches important lessons about education and society. The play criticizes rule, learning, and mechanical teaching methods. It questions that real purpose of education and success. Humor and satire make the criticism enjoyable and memorable. Refund is funny, clever, and teaches lessons at the same time. Fritz Karinthy exposes the weaknesses of rigid education systems. This means Fritz Karinthy shows that strict school rules can be harmful. Rigid systems focus on memorization rather than understanding. Creativity and critical thinking are ignored. The candidate's cleverness highlights these flaws. Teachers and the headmaster are shown trapped by the system. The play uses humor and satire to criticize rigid education. Karinthy shows that strict school system can fail students. The play proves that real learning is more than just passing exams. This means The play shows that education is not just about marks. Passing exams does not guarantee understanding or skills. Real learning involves thinking, reasoning, and applying knowledge. The candidate's experience shows how exams alone are insufficient. The system's focus on memorization limits real education. Humor and satire make this lesson memorable. True learning is more than passing tests. It's about understanding life. It teaches the need for creativity, understanding, and application of knowledge. This means the play shows that students should think creatively. Understanding concepts is more important than memorizing facts. Knowledge should be applied in real life situations. The candidate's action highlight the lack of these qualities in the system. Mechanical teaching methods fail to promote creativity and understanding. Humor makes the lesson engaging and memorable. Students need creativity, understanding, and practical application to truly learn. Ultimately, the play remains a timeless comedy with a serious social message. This means the play is funny and entertaining for all generations. Despite humor, it carries a serious message about education. It highlights the flaws of rigid and mechanical education. The satire makes the lesson memorable. The play encourages creativity, thinking, and understanding. It criticizes blind memorization with certificates. Refund is a timeless comedy that teaches important social lessons. Now, friends, let's learn the moral of the story from Refund. Real learning is more important than just memorizing facts. Creativity, understanding, and application matter more than marks. Blindly following rigid rules can fail students. Education should prepare students for real life, not just exams. Humor can teach serious lessons effectively. That's all for today's discussion on Refund. Hope you enjoyed and learned something new. Thank you very much. Padmam Imam.